Hello, everyone. This is Curran, and welcome to another episode of Travel Talk. And today we're going to be talking about how the airports and the airline lounges are just totally failing their customers. Okay, let's go. So, one of the I love lounges because they are the thing that kind of gets you away from the main population. Everybody's out there doing their thing. And you can go to this little place and there's like not many people there and it's usually quiet. Excuse me. And you can actually get food. But it's the responsibility of the airports and the airlines to provide that type of thing for you. Some airports, it is pretty clear that the airline has dictated that you will have no other lounges in this part of the airport except ours, which I think is a disservice for me as a customer. Because if you're going to say, let's say it's airline A, and the only lounge that can be in this part of the airport, it belongs to airline A, but I don't have membership in that lounge, but I have membership in another lounge, and then I can't access it because I can't access that lounge from where I am, then that's a disservice to the customer. So airports, it is your responsibility to make sure that your customers are being served properly, regardless of which airline they fly on. And this is actually very true in JFK. Like if I go in JFK Terminal 8, if I don't have any American airline or Terminal 7, I think it is maybe 7/8. If I don't have any American Airlines affiliation, I can't use any lounge in there. There's not even like a priority pass lounge in that area. Now there's a priority pass lounge in another part of the airport, but not in that particular terminal. And I can't get to it from that terminal once I'm in security. That's the other annoying thing about the US airports. Most of them, you can't access another terminal without like going through security or something like that. There's no behind security area. Now, international concourses, some of them have that issue, but it's not as bad as in the US. They're getting better. Like in San Francisco, they're building. I guess they're almost done now building on the last connection that would connect all the terminals airside. This was not the case maybe a year or two ago. So they're getting better. LA is similar. You can access all the terminals, but it's a very long walk through tunnels and all that kind of good stuff. But I have a video about that. I'm going to post that at some point so you can see what I mean. But a lot of the airports, they just don't. The airports just don't really do that. So I made a list of the things that I think where the airport lounges fail their customers. So one of them is no sleep facility. We're tired. Sometimes we have long day connections, and you should have a sleep facility somewhere in the airport. Either give me some lounge chairs like Amsterdam Schiphol does, or have something in the lounge or someplace in the airport where I can get a sleep facility. I was coming through Bahrain International and they have a sleep thing. Luckily, my Priority Pass card works in it, so I didn't have to pay for like the 3 hours. But that's all I needed. I think my connection was 4 hours because I was coming from Riyadh, and so I had 4 hours in the airport, and that 3 hours was great because I was up early in the morning trying to get to the airport and all that. The US, they have a new thing called Minute Suites now, and those are popping up. One just popped up in Houston, and there you can sleep for 3 hours, and you can pay with your Priority Pass. Now I keep saying Priority Pass. Priority Pass is it's a company that sells airport lounge access. In short, you can get this either from your credit card or you can actually go buy the pass yourself. You can get an annual pass where you can just do unlimited lounges, or you can you pay a one-time fee, and then every time you use a lounge, you pay. So it just depends on how you use it. So like if you have on the Chase Sapphire card reserve, I think it is, you get access to the priority pass. You get a priority pass card out of it. Same thing with American Express. Some lounges do not accept the priority pass if it's from American Express or if it's some Chase. It's very weird. And then other ways that if you have an airline club card, you can get access via the airline club card. Normally it's an annual membership, and then you can access that airline's club. Usually you have to have a ticket that show you're traveling that day on a particular airline that's within that network. With priority pass, it doesn't matter what airline you're on. But let's say, for example, you wanted to do United Club, you'd have to have the United Club card, plus you'd have to have a ticket to travel that day. If you were, say, let's say you were flying Lufthansa, you could show your Lufthansa ticket because United has a relationship with Lufthansa. You cannot show your American Airlines ticket because American Airlines does not have a relationship with United in that respect. They do have a relationship because there's something called interline relationship. So if American has an issue with their flights, they can actually rebook you on United if they want to. There's another story there. And also they can transfer bags and things like that. The other thing is opening hours. If your airport is open at 4:30 a.m. and you have flights going out, why isn't your lounge open at 4:30 a.m.? I mean, at least in Houston, the Admirals Club in Houston is actually open at 4:30. Their first flight is at 5. So at least you can go in and get coffee or tea or something. The American Express Lounge is not open at 4:30 in Houston. I think they're open at 5:30. Same thing with closing. You have a flight at 12:30 at night, but your lounge closes at 11. It's not like you don't have anybody at the airport and the airport is not open, because the airport is open because you have flights departing. So it's open, it's operationally open. Why don't you have the lounges open when people are actually using them? So that's the other bizarre thing. You know what the schedules are. So you can match the opening hours and the closing hours with the schedule. I don't understand it. Crappy food. These lounges are not cheap. The American airline, the American Express one is like $695. I think most of the airlines ones are like $475 to $500. So they're quite expensive. Give us better food. I must say though that the food in American Express Lounge is very good. Except like I had some greasy chicken recently, but that's just very rare, right? The food's good. The other thing too is that remember that not everybody drinks alcohol. So if I go to the bar, you should have non-alcoholic beer and wine. I think I was in a club in New York, in Newark Airport, I think it was, and I asked the lady for non-alcoholic wine or beer, and she goes, "Well, we had the beer." But she didn't have any, but she goes, "Wine? I never heard of non-alcoholic wine." You're a bartender. How do you not hear about non-alcoholic wine? So make sure the staff knows what's out there, and please provide for your customers who are not alcohol drinkers. Some clubs charge extra for alcohol. I'm like, seriously, or they'll charge for like extra for premium alcohol. Showers. You should have showers in the club. This is something that we need when we travel. If you did a red-eye flight or you had a long day, one of the problems is that the airline is trying to dictate how we travel, right? So recently I was on a flight. They changed how they do acceptance into the clubs now. It has to be a departure and it has to be 3 hours, unless you're like a club member. Then if you're a club member, you can get in whenever. But if you just like I say this because so I have the American Express one, and it's 3 hours is the cutoff. Now let me show you why this doesn't work. I got to the airport, my flight's at 5 a.m. The club in Houston is not open until 5:30, so I can't use it. I connected in Dallas. My connection time in Dallas is 45 minutes. So I have enough time to get off the plane, get on the train, and get to the gate and board. By the time you get to the gate, boarding is already started. So now, remember, I was up at 2 a.m. because I had to get on the flight. Now I get to the airport and on the airport on the plane, they give you tea or coffee or Biscoff or pretzels. Unless you're in first class and you probably get a meal. So I get to Las Vegas, but I'm arriving in Las Vegas at 8. It's like 7:30, but it's supposed to be 8:05, but I arrive at 7:30, 7:30 a.m. So I'm in Las Vegas at 7:30 a.m. and I'd like to use the lounge. I'd like to get breakfast, but I can't because I'm an arriving passenger. So it just doesn't, I understand what they're trying to do is to stop overcrowding or whatever it is they're trying to do. But I paid for the membership and all I need is breakfast. And you were not open at 4:30 when I got to the airport where I started. I didn't have enough time for my connection to go to the lounge. And sometimes when you go to the lounge, there's no space. So you have to wait. And by the time you wait, it's time to board your airplane. So you can't even get any food to eat. So you guys probably need to look into that a little more to understand how the customers are using your product and figure out how you can help that particular customer. And sometimes they have, back to the showers, they either don't have showers or they don't have enough. There's one particular club where the shower has been broken forever. And so there's always only one shower available. Fix it. This is what you do. I don't want to hear excuses. Fix it. Because if I don't pay you my membership fee every year, you're going to take the card away, right? And I can't give you an excuse. You won't accept it. So fix the shower. Broken, same thing with broken facility. You go in. I can understand if it's broke, if it's in, it's broken one day, yeah, okay, fine. But if it's been broken for a while, you need to figure out how to fix it. Or give me some type of compensation. You probably won't, so you need to fix it. We talked about it not being the departure lounge, the 3-hour check-in limit. So this one here, the 3-hour check-in limit, I was in Las Vegas again, and I got to the airport, but I was and this happens to me all the time, right? I get to the airport early. Like actually this just happened when I had my delay. I was trying to get out of Orlando. And so I had to fly Orlando to Miami, and then I had to do Miami to Dallas, actually Miami to Houston. But I was trying to get on an earlier flight because I had like a 6-hour layover because I arrived like at 1 o'clock and my flight was at 7. So I tried to get on an earlier flight. So I had a standby boarding pass for the earlier flight. They wouldn't let me in the lounge with the standby boarding pass because they said I have to have a confirmed boarding pass. But my confirmed boarding pass is at 7:25. My standby was for, I think it was like 2 o'clock, and I had an hour or hour and a half to play with. And they said, no, I can't get in the lounge with that. So you treated me like I didn't pay you to use the lounge, and you have all these rules that are perfect. I got to be here 3 hours because if I'm not here 3 hours, it's not going to work. But if I'm a little over, so it's really silly. Other thing too is that if your lounge is closing, like your lounge closes at 11, my flight's at 12:30. And so you want to give me 3 hours before, I assume you would let me in at 8. Because it's 3 hours before closing. Because my flight leaves at 12:30 and you close at 11. But I think they actually do allow that. So somebody probably thought about that one. Okay. One of the lounges, when they open, they don't have hot food. Why would you have hot food an hour later? Just have your people start an hour earlier so they can have a hot food when you open. I don't understand the logic behind some of this. I know you're going to tell me that you can't, but you can't get people to show up for work or whatever the deal is. But the airport is open. So if the airport is open and you are open, why can't you have hot food? I mean, I know it takes time to prepare the hot food, but you need to get your staff in together. It's not my fault. You charge me a fee. I paid it. I expect the service because you charge me the fee. So let me know what you think. I mean, maybe I'm being tough on these facilities, but it is not cheap, and they need to really think of the passengers they're trying to serve. Because in this particular airport, there's like 2 or 3 lounges. One of the lounges, um, when you get in, the shower doesn't open until 7:30, but the lounge opens at, I think it opens at 4:30 or 5:30. But the shower is not ready until 7:30. But there's another lounge where the shower is ready when it's open. So get your act together. You need to serve your customers. I saw a lady and her husband, and this one, the shower is broken. They have 2 showers. One is broken. It's always been broken. And then the guy is like, okay, great, you can use a shower. And then her husband had to go to the other club that had the shower was open, um, and then go take his shower. And then she takes her shower, and then they leave for the flight. And she had actually taken a longer layover in the airport just so she could take a shower. And then you get there, and this is a kind of a stuff that you're being told by the agents. And agents, I mean, they're just doing their jobs, right? So but it makes it really bad for them, because they have to tell the customer that they can't serve them. And of course the customer is upset because that this lady, she planned on taking a shower because she was going to do something else. It's her red-eye flight, she wants to take a shower. That's why you pay for the lounge. So get it together. Let's see. We have the 3 not having enough people to keep the clubs clean. That piece is really weird. Sometimes the lounge gets so crowded, and when they get crowded, the people who clean up don't clean up fast enough. So oftentimes, because you want to get a seat, you have to go sit at a dirty table. And then you have to go find someone to come and clean the area for you. And when they clean the area, I watch them all the time, and they don't really clean the tables properly. So I bring my own wipes and I clean the table. The other thing is that they don't even clean the seats. Somebody was sitting there, so clean it. So we're just not thinking. During COVID, we cleaned everything. So why aren't we cleaning everything now? So it's just it's weird how we've gone back into this weirdness that shouldn't be. But I think that's all I have. But if you have any others about, what you've seen in the lounges, how the airports and the airlines are, and they're all the people who provide, because the people who provide lounges is typical. You've got like, I think Air Services is one of the companies. You've got American Express, you've got Diners Club, you've got MasterCard, you've got all the larger airlines. They'll have lounges at the airport. So these are really big companies that are providing these facilities. But you guys need to really get it together. Have somebody sit. I'm gamed to go to your lounges and test your lounges, because I'm in the airport anyway. So drop me a DM. Let's work something out, and we can figure this out, because I can write a report on every lounge I go to of all the deficiencies of that lounge. And we can figure out a pricing for that. That's not what this video is about. But somebody needs to do that, because you guys are failing the customers. So this is currently Travel Talk. I hope you all found this interesting. And if you've gone to a lounge and been disserviced, let me know. Leave a comment. And and I probably expect too much of the lounge, but they charge quite a bit for them. So yes, I do expect something good for them. And I don't want to have to wait every time I go to an airport. I'll be told, you're too early, you can't get in. Anyway, this is currently Travel Talk. Have a good trip, and talk to you soon.